From Norfolk all the way to Makapu is yesterday, all up here, the back roads. So we pretty much covered the whole Wamanao. We're going to go back out again, do the same thing again.
Honolulu, Hawaii, KHON 2. Posted September 15th, 2021. The search for 6-year-old Isabella Kalua continued on Wednesday, September 15th. The girl was first reported missing at 5 a.m. on Monday, September 13th. It had been 3 days, and there was still no sign of Isabella, who was last seen in the bedroom of her Wamanao home on Sunday, September 12th around 9 p.m. Her biological aunt, Lana Adayo, has helped with the search and said it has been a struggle. Heartbreaking trying to hold it together, Adayo said as she fought back tears. We're trying. It's hard. Police described Isabella Kalua, also known as Ariel Sellers, as Caucasian and mixed race, with brown eyes and hair. She was last seen wearing a black hoodie and leggings, colorful socks, and pink-soled Nike slides. Volunteers and authorities have been searching for Isabella since Monday. On Tuesday, KHON2 spoke with her biological aunt, Jamie Kumai, who flew in from Maui as soon as she heard of Isabella's disappearance.
We're gonna continue the search as long as we need to. These nights, we're gonna continue until we find her or until we hear anything. And all we can hope for is the best, pray for the best, and we ask if you know something, hear something, see something, say something.
Auntie Jamie flew in from Maui as soon as she heard of Isabella's disappearance.
Another family member told KHON2 that Isabella and her 3 siblings were recently adopted and that Child Protective Services took the siblings from the home as the search for Isabella continued. There was no Amber Alert due to certain criteria not being met. Multiple law enforcement agencies and dozens of volunteers continued the search Wednesday. By land, Honolulu Police Department scoured through thick brush, and volunteers left no stone unturned by marking paths with purple ribbon. We pretty much covered the whole Wamanao, Adayo said. We need to go back out again and do the same thing again. Drones captured a bird's eye view and hunting for clues by air. The Department of Land and Natural Resources scanned nearby waters. According to a witness, the police searched the dumpsters as well as junk refrigerators and washers. A second witness said a photo album with pictures of Isabella was found a week ago at the dump and was turned in to the police. Jamie Kumai, Isabella's biological aunt, said she did hear about the photo album. We don't know too much information about it, she explained. All we know is it's in police custody. Kumai said they will not give up until they bring Isabella home. We're going to be out here every day, all night, for as long as we need to, Kumai said. We don't want to ask questions. If you know you have her, whatever, just drop her off someplace, Adayo said. Interim Police Chief Ray Vanek Ask neighbors to check their yards and properties for anywhere that a young child might be able to hide. Homeowners with security video were also asked to check their footage to see if there was anything that may help with the investigation. We are thankful for the many families and individuals who are helping to search for Isabella, especially the volunteer search captains and their teams, Vanek said in a statement. It's obvious that she comes from a caring family and community, and we are hopeful that we will find her soon and find her safe. Anyone with information should call the police or Crime Stoppers at 808-955-8300.
The search for a missing 6-year-old Oahu girl is fanning out, with flyers now going up on Maui in the hopes that more eyes on the situation will shed light on where she is. The girl was reported missing from the home of her adopted parents over the weekend. Isabella Kalua, also known as Ariel Sellers, was last seen asleep in her room at her Puha Street address in Waimanalo on Sunday, September 12, 2021. At approximately 9 p.m. Honolulu police had initiated the search, saying, her family and friends are concerned for her safety and well-being, but no Amber Alert was issued, as the case reportedly did not meet criteria for the program. Jamie Kumai, her biological auntie who lives on Maui, just returned to the Valley Isle after 4 days of searching on Oahu. Ariel, we love you. Come out wherever you are. We want to bring you home and just hope and pray you're safe. We're not going to stop looking for you, Kumai said in a phone call with Maui Now this afternoon. Kumai is first cousins with the girl's biological mother. Kumai described the girl as a happy baby with a bubbly personality. In the beginning she's shy, but once she gets to know you, she just wants to play. She's so lovable. She just wants to be loved, said Kumai. According to Kumai, the State Department of Land and Natural Resources as well as the Coast Guard joined in the search to cover waters as well as the Bellows military area. Volunteers are still covering bases in Waimanalo, but the search is starting to go out into other areas. Some people are already in other areas looking. We still don't have tips or leads on her whereabouts, said Kumai. On Monday, Crime Stoppers and HPD called on help from the public to assist in locating the girl, but few new details surrounding her disappearance have surfaced in the media. Maui police have said there is no indication the missing child is here on Maui, but said they also shared the information in the hopes of getting the word out. It's up in the air how we're feeling. I know they have protocols. We're letting them do their part, said Kumai, who noted that since volunteers have set up a base in Waimanalo, authorities have been there as well, with an officer doing a huddle prior to searches daily. Lieutenant Dina Thoms of the HPD Criminal Investigation Division said, since Monday, the HPD has been working tirelessly with the community to locate Isabella. We have conducted numerous interviews. However, there are still individuals, to include acquaintances and family members, who have yet to come forward to be interviewed. We hope that this will change in the near future as the investigation and search for Isabella continues. At this time, foul play has not been ruled out. Lieutenant Thom said, the HPD is grateful to the community and city, state, federal and military agencies for their assistance and continued support in the search for Isabella. In the beginning there were boundaries that we couldn't search at, said Kumai. We still don't have tips or leads on her whereabouts. It is getting harder. I know I'm going to break soon, but I'm still holding on to hope and praying and still trying to be positive, said Kumai. Isabella Ariel is described as 3 feet 3 inches tall, weighs 46 pounds, and has brown hair and brown eyes.
Tonight, hundreds got together at Waimanalo District Park to hold a candlelight vigil for missing 6-year-old Isabella Kalua. Today marks 7 days since Isabella went missing from her Waimanalo home, and still, her whereabouts are unknown. More than 400 candles were put together wrapped in her favorite color, purple. The purpose of the vigil was to help shine a light in the hopes that Isabella will find a way home. Many we spoke to tell us while the circumstances are worrying, these events have helped bring the community together.
So the intention will be that we bring Ariel home. And the intention will also be that we leave a light on for Isabella.
The first day, my daughter was taking our dog for a walk, and the police was on our property. They had dogs and everything looking through the back creek, and we became aware of the situation right away. And we were like, oh man, this is a sad situation. It doesn't matter whether we're blood or not. We're all family here.
It's overwhelming. I'm from Aliu Manu myself. I don't know the family, but I am a father. And it's heartbreaking. I'm more mad than sad, and that's what brings me out here.
When people talk about family in Hawaii, when they say Ohana, no one gets left behind, that's what it is. Complete strangers, we're all family. When it comes down to, at the end of the day, trying to find Isabella.
Family members also announced tonight that they will no longer hold gatherings at the park for search events, but they continue to encourage the community to search safely.
Authorities search high and low on land and in water for Isabella Kalua, now missing for 8 days. Today, the Honolulu Police Department said it is suspending the search for the Waimanalo girl as many questions continue to surround her disappearance. Tonight, supporters miles away say they're not giving up hope. Christy Tamashiro has more.
Although Honolulu police announced suspending the search for 6-year-old Isabella Kalua, the community is holding on to hope. Here at Nanakuli Beach Park, dozens of community members showed up for a candlelight vigil Monday night, brought to tears and praying that the 6-year-old will be found.
We so connected, Waimanalo and Nanakuli and west side of Oahu, that we wanted to shine the beacon of light to Waimanalo and let them know that we stand with them, even though we're separated by mountain ranges.
Kila, who helped organize the vigil, is grateful the community came out in support.
I'm grateful that folks up and down the coast and across the island are coming this evening and just showing their support.
HPD says detectives will continue to look into possible leads. Meanwhile, the Attorney General's Office Missing Children Center works on up to 40 cases at any given time, similar to Isabella Kalua's. There's different classifications for each case: lost child, endangered runaway, and abducted.
And that could be either a parent or family abduction or a stranger or acquaintance abduction. And the safety risk is going to be potential harm by the abductor to the child.
Leonard says stranger abductions are rare in Hawaii. The most common cases the center responds to are endangered runaway and family abduction. In any case, time is essential.
I often say time is the enemy because you have to understand that the folks responding to a missing child incident, especially a critically missing child incident, are running against the clock. And so it's imperative that all resources are being utilized in real time, and that we all continue to support the responders in these matters as much as possible.
Officials are asking if you know anything, please call authorities. And until there are answers, the community will keep on hoping for the best.
We hope that we can continue to shine light, that this doesn't happen every day, but it still happens. And we truly just can stand behind the communities in whatever way we can, because I know they would do the same for us.
Well, unless we find them, we always come to this dreaded point in every story. When a child or an adult is missing. September 22nd, 2021. Search suspended for missing Hawaii girl. Just more than a week after disappearance. The search for a missing Hawaii girl who experienced 2 separate injuries investigated by Child Welfare Services over the last couple of years has been suspended. Isabella Kalua, who also goes by Ariel, was last seen at her home in Waimanalo on the island of Oahu on Sunday, September 12th, according to a previous press release from the Honolulu Police Department. But after more than a week of searching, which included scores of volunteers and FBI agents, authorities on Monday announced that they would be suspending their efforts. Department spokeswoman Michelle Yu told the Honolulu Star-Advertiser, however, that an investigation into the 6-year-old's disappearance remained active and urged anyone with information to come forward. Isabella was recently adopted by Sunny and Lihua Kalua after spending time in their foster care, according to the outlet. The couple changed her legal name from Ariel Sellers to Isabella Kalua shortly after taking her in earlier this year. Their attorney said it wasn't uncommon for the child to sneak out of the house at night and sleep outside. This undated photo provided by the Honolulu Police Department shows Isabella Kalua, who was last seen sleeping in her room in Waimanalo, near the eastern end of the island of Oahu, at about 9 p.m. on Sunday, September 12, 2021, Honolulu police said. The couple believes she could have wandered off or was abducted the night of her disappearance. Isabella was already gone when they woke up the morning of September 13th, and they immediately called the police at 6 a.m., according to their lawyer. Over the course of the last 2 years, Isabella had 2 serious injuries investigated by Child Welfare Services, Hawaii News Now reported, but no evidence of mistreatment was uncovered. In the first incident, back in October 2019, she had a broken finger. According to the outlet, there was a delay in both reporting the injury and getting treatment for Isabella. Her family said she slammed her hand in the door. Just 4 months later, in January 2020, Isabella suffered a broken leg and was taken to the ER. Her family this time blamed it on an incident on a trampoline. The work Child Welfare Services does with families directly impacts lives, so information is typically confidential. Generally, to avoid or prevent further trauma and acting in the child's best interest, CWS does not confirm or deny a family's involvement in services nor provide comment, especially when there is involvement with law enforcement or the courts. A CWS spokesperson told Hawaii News Hour. The safety and well-being of every child is our top priority. CWS responds to all reports of child abuse or neglect, and we ask the public to assist by reporting what they see and what they hear. Authorities believe Isabella, who has brown hair and brown eyes, was likely wearing a black hoodie, black leggings, colorful socks, and Nike slides when she disappeared. Again, anyone with information about Isabella's whereabouts is asked to call HPD's Crime Stoppers at 808-955-8300. Just yesterday, I saw an update, and it sucks so bad because I hadn't even finished telling her story up to that point. But I was starting to feel like I don't like this. Since the first time I heard of this baby, I haven't liked this. Now they call off the search. The grandmother suspects foul play. The biological parents aren't getting a lot of answers. It didn't feel good. But you never know until you know. Well, let's just do a quick recap, and then I'll let you know. Isabella Kalua, age 6, disappeared from the home of her adoptive parents, Isaac K. Sonny Kalua III, and Leua Kalua. Isabella was homeschooled. Isabella was born Ariel Sellers to Melanie Joseph and Adam Sellers, who also had 4 other daughters. The 5 girls were removed from Joseph's home due to their parents' drug use. 1 girl went to live with a family member, while Ariel and her other 3 sisters were fostered by the Kaluas. Isaac Kalua had several felony convictions for assault and terroristic threatening. Investigators are trying to determine how Ariel and her sisters were placed with the Kaluas. The Kaluas changed Ariel's name to Isabella and eventually adopted her in October 2019. The Kaluas delayed seeking treatment after Isabella broke her finger. According to the Kaluas, Isabella's hand was slammed in a door. In January 2020, Isabella went to the ER with a broken leg, which the Kaluas claimed was related to jumping on a trampoline. Both injuries were investigated by Child Services, who determined there was no maltreatment. During the 2020 and 2021 school year, Isabella was enrolled in kindergarten at Waimanalo Elementary via distance learning. However, in June 2021, her adoptive parents filed paperwork to withdraw the child and homeschool her. According to the Kaluas, Isabella had a habit of leaving the house at night to sleep in the yard. On September 12, 2021, Isabella disappeared from the Kaluas' home. The Kaluas reported her disappearance the following day, claiming that she was abducted or wandered off. According to Joseph, a boy in Isabella's class, said he had not seen her in a week. It's unclear what class she meant. Joseph's family, including Isabella's biological aunt, Lana Adeo, organized a massive search for Isabella, according to family spokesperson Jamie Kumai. The Kaluas did not participate in the search. The search was suspended September 20th, and Isabella's 3 sisters were removed from the Kaluas' custody. The investigation was ongoing. So this was the story. And my plan was to put this video out and say to you all, please, share. Spread the word. If you see something, say something, you know? All those beautiful catchy phrases that we have to use all too often. But you will have to excuse me for just a moment, because that's not the message that I have to bring today. The message today is that Isabella Kalua is said to have been murdered by her adoptive parents. Here we go again. After all the hoping and praying and pleading and begging, we lost another one. I'm just going to give a moment of silence for Isabella Kalua. And as you can see on the screen before you, police released details on the disappearance of Isabella Kalua following the arrest of her adoptive parents. Biological family wants closure. November 10th, 2021.
2 months after a 6-year-old Waimanalo girl was reported missing, her adoptive parents have been arrested for murder. Isaac Kalua and Lehua Kalua were taken into HPD custody this morning. He was arrested at his workplace at the Pearl Harbor shipyard. She was arrested at their home on Puha Street in Waimanalo. Both have been charged with second-degree murder and are being held without bail. Multiple police vehicles and an FBI evidence response team van were seen at the home early this morning. The area taped off and multiple tarps and tents were put up. Isabella's body has not been found. We have several reports tonight. Max Rodriguez has more on what led to the arrests and what happens next. We begin with Jen Boniza, who spent the day in Waimanalo and spoke with Isabella's biological family. Jen?
Joe, I am here in Waimanalo. I've been here all day right in front of Isabella Ariel Kalua's adoptive parents' home. Now, police raided the home very early this morning. You can see the caution tape still up. FBI and police are still there conducting the investigation as well as collecting evidence. Now, if you pan the camera this way, you have many people that have been here all day long. These are community members, family, and friends that have been waiting for answers. They're wanting to know what happened to Isabella. They've never given up the search, many of them looking the entire 2 months since she's been missing. Of course, they are doing, like I said, a candlelight vigil, and they want to know where she is and what happened. Police dogs and heavy police presence busy searching the house and digging around the yard for Isabella Ariel Kalua's remains. Federal agents collected beds, boxes stuffed full, and even a vacuum cleaner, all evidence in the case now officially classified as murder. That's been the scene all day, just beyond the caution tape and purple balloons lining the fence. Witnesses say law enforcement came down hard, dressed in full riot gear Wednesday morning, raiding the home of Lehua and Isaac Sonny Kalua, Isabella's adoptive parents.
I saw the flashbang, and then I saw them disappear to the side, and then they came out. So I saw them coming out with, they obviously went in with shields, the police shields, but I didn't see anybody else, I guess, come out of the house.
She says she heard police tell someone to get out of the car. That's when police arrested Lehua Kalua for murder. Isaac Kalua was also arrested for murder, taken into custody from his job at Pearl Harbor. According to the Kaluas, 6-year-old Isabella was last seen at the home the evening of Sunday, September 12th, a story police now classify as false. Police believe Isabella was murdered by her adoptive parents in mid-August, a month before she was reported missing.
Oh, it's been a very emotional, overwhelming morning.
Isabella's biological family has been fighting for answers from the start. Ka'eo says she was dropping her kids at school when she heard about the raid.
This is like a bomb in our head, in our faces, you know, like it's like we didn't have answers and then boom, all of a sudden they're arrested and they have the house being raided.
They are angry and disappointed to think the Kaluas could have killed Isabella.
I feel like I was slapped in my face with a fake apology for, you know, not knowing what took place, or it was fake remorse. Those girls were failed by Lehua and Sonny. They didn't give them unconditional love. So it hurts. I hurt for my nieces. I hurt for the unknown.
Ka'eo says they just want closure.
We just want to put our baby girl to rest, if that's what it is. We want justice for her and her sisters. We just want the girls to come home to family.
Again, you can see the family, friends, and community have gathered here in Waimanalo with a candlelight vigil for Ariel, now that this case is considered a murder case. The community wants answers, and they are hoping that someone will come forward to help the police find out exactly what happened to her and help them find her body. We will continue to follow this story. Live from Waimanalo, Jen Boniza, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
Thank you, Jen. The arrest of Isabella's adoptive parents come after an intensive investigation by the Honolulu Police Department and the FBI. Max Rodriguez joins us with more. Max?
Joe, that's right. And police telling me that this remains an extremely active investigation with major developments connected to evidence with the case. All of this happening in the last week or so, leading police to the arrest of the adopted parents, Lehua and Isaac Kalua. From a missing persons case to a murder investigation, Isabella's adopted parents, Lehua and Isaac Kalua, arrested and charged with second-degree murder.
Based on the investigation conducted by the homicide detail, we believe that Ariel was murdered sometime in the middle of August 2021 by her adopted parents, Lehua and Isaac Kalua.
HPD says due to the investigation, they cannot go into detail about the timeline of her alleged murder.
We'll put it this way, we can't find any cooperating witnesses who are going to tell us that they've seen her after them, that we can substantiate that, right?
The FBI helping HPD enter into this new phase of the criminal investigation.
Yes. In the last week to 10 days, some evidence has come to light, again, with the significant help of the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit.
Police say the initial statements by the adopted family were false. Police say evidence shows it was the Kaluas involved and no one else.
We had a missing person, which was not a criminal case at that time, so we had to build our probable cause to get to that criminal case in order for us to do that, to get a search warrant for the premises or any other search warrant.
As to what's next with this arrest, police say both adopted parents Lehua and Isaac Kalua will remain in police custody at least until their first court hearing appearance. That's likely to happen sometime this week. Reporting live, Max Rodriguez, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
Now, proving foul play will be difficult without the victim's body, but it has been done before. In a story that's new tonight at 10, Christy Tamashiro spoke to legal experts about what's next for the case.
Legal experts say crimes often occur with no witnesses present, and in some cases, a body is never found. That's when other types of evidence comes into play as a crucial part of the investigation.
When it comes to proving a murder case, the authorities have to use what's called circumstantial evidence, meaning things that if you put your common sense and put them all together, it really indicates that the suspects have committed a crime.
Former Hawaii Island Deputy Prosecutor Ricky Roy Damerville was able to build a case against the parents of Peter Boyd Kama.
Person is killed by a strangulation. There may not be blood at the scene, but if it's a knifing or a shooting, blunt force trauma is applied to a body, there's going to be blood evidence somewhere. Then you have experts come in to say, based on the quantity of the blood that they're finding at a scene, whether they can opine whether or not that person is probably not going to be found alive.
Honolulu police say within the last 10 days, new evidence turned the case around.
We had a missing person, which was not a criminal case at that time, so we had to build our probable cause to get to that criminal case in order for us to do that, to get a search warrant for the premises or any other search warrant.
Chin says probable cause is a standard of proof that needs to be approved by a judge.
That basically just indicates that there is evidence out there to indicate that a crime might have been committed. That certainly doesn't mean that whatever judge signed off on the search warrant thinks that the suspects are guilty or that they've committed a crime, but it does show that there is enough evidence to be able to show that something might have happened.
Once the initial court appearance happens, the process towards trial will go forward.
There has been cases we've had with no body murder, arrest, and charges. I think we're heading in a good direction when it comes to trial and conviction.
Christy Tamashiro, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
A 6-year-old Isabella Kalua was murdered. Today, they arrested her adoptive mother and father.
Police now believe that Isabella, also known as Ariel, was killed a full month before her adoptive parents even reported her missing in September. And still no body has been found.
And tonight, the community held a candlelight vigil near the Kalua's home in Waimanalo. For months, they searched for the missing girl, all while police and the FBI investigated the circumstances of her disappearance.
Her adoptive parents, Isaac and Lehua Kalua, were arrested this morning and charged with her murder. Isaac arrested at his workplace at the Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard. Lehua picked up at their home in Waimanalo, where multiple police vehicles and FBI response teams were set up all day.
We start our coverage tonight with Sam Spangler, who joins us now live from Waimanalo. Sam.
Lauren, this Waimanalo community that's been through so much turmoil the past couple of months that all came to a head today is relatively quiet and peaceful tonight again. Now, about 2 hours ago, there was about 50 folks that were lining these streets for the Candlelight Vigil. I asked family, friends, community members why they decided to come down on such short notice. They said they wanted to show Ariel that she's loved. Candles are still lit across the street after the vigil wrapped up at 7 o'clock. The Kalua home, where Ariel would have celebrated her 7th birthday this past Saturday, a haunting contrast to where just feet away the search for her body is still underway.
It's so overwhelmed, so beautiful. The community has been with us from day one, and we can't thank them enough of all the support and prayers. And they're still doing it, and they're still with us, and there's not much you can ask for.
As Ariel's biological family mourns, they wait.
This is a start what they did today. So hopefully there's more in the process to help get a closure. So it's just patience.
The investigation here in Waimanalo could last until Thursday. On Wednesday, authorities were seen bringing beds, boxes, and a vacuum cleaner out of the home.
We are conducting a search of the home today and probably into tomorrow. If we're unable to locate remains there, then a big part of what we're asking for is people who have seen the Kaluas between August and September.
Now, some folks are still trickling down to pay their respects. They've been doing so throughout the evening. Now, I spoke to some family members today who said that they came down to this address as early as 7 o'clock this morning to come show their support for Ariel. They said they're going to come down again tomorrow as police continue their investigation here in Waimanalo for the foreseeable future. Reporting live from Waimanalo, Sam Spangler, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
What a year it's been. I mean, we've had Texas, Idaho, Nevada, California, Hawaii, and that's just to name a few. We've got Orrin and Orson, of course, Summer Wells, MJ Vaughn, Xavier Harrelson, Isabella Kalua, and that's just to name a few. Our boy Boss Man Blake recently created a song called Why. Why are they taking these kids? I'm so sick of this shit. Those are the lyrics. And those are my thoughts. It gets harder and harder to fight back the tears. Harder and harder to fight back the anger. Why are we hurting our blessings? Why do people adopt other people's children only to hurt them? Why do people take these babies from subpar situations at best in the first place in the system and take them to their home and make their lives even worse? Why? Why? My other question is how? How in the hell does a baby disappear from her own bed in the middle of the night? From their own damn backyard? From their own basement? Why? How does this happen? How many more tears? How many more search parties? How many more prayer vigils? How many more lies? How much more circumstantial evidence? How much more? We got about a month left in this year. How much more? Rest in heaven, Isabella. You won't be forgotten. And I'll see you in the comments, beautiful people. A poem for Isabella called God's Garden. God looked around his garden, and he found an empty place. And then he looked down upon the earth and saw your tired face. He put his arms around you and lifted you to rest. God's garden must be beautiful. He always takes the best. He knew that you were suffering. He knew you were in pain. He knew that you would never get well on earth again. He saw the road was getting rough and the hills were hard to climb. So he closed your weary eyelids and whispered, "Peace be thine." It broke our hearts to lose you, but you didn't go alone. For part of us went with you the day God called you home.
Kids missing just sickens my mood. Now I got an attitude. You think I won't battle fool? I will slap the fuck out of you. Maybe I am a radical. I'm charged up with a matador. If you don't love the kids, why do you got them for? I tell the truth, how they got out the door. These cases I can't ignore. You damn right I want your face on the floor. We lacking info pimping, I'ma need more. See, it's the truth that we want. You supposed to love your kid, the truth is you don't. Somebody bring them parents up to the front. Them kids been missing for months. Damn right I'm mad, pimp, I done had enough. Oh, my business, bitch, I don't give a fuck. I might just tear this shit up. Now we got summer, we got horse, and we got orange. Like the parents, they don't care. I'm like, what the fuck you doing? All of the YouTubers pursuing. They do more than what you doing. Now how the fuck you gonna influence? Your reputation done been ruined. Why they taking these kids? I'm so sick of this shit. Remember that kid they left in the car. Sydney deal, she had a bum for a father, and it was Sardis Navarre. Just break the window, but he wouldn't even bother. He making kids, now that's really a problem. What about that fella Kawan? The lady picked him up was a mom. Now Kawan was a friend with a son. I can't believe what they done. They found his body in the sugar cane field. Now his parents gotta shed some real tears. This ain't how the fuck we supposed to live. If you got a kid, show them that you love them, cause they leaving on the dub. Protect them, gotta keep them covered, cause there's some evil motherfuckers plotting, waiting just to touch them. Don't you think this shit is nuts? They taking kids out by the dozen. It's so many living in your city limits. If you think that they offended, that mean you think this again. It only take a single man. Evaluate the way you live. This was a blessing you was given. It's gonna hit you different if your child just end up missing. Why they taking these kids? I'm so sick of this shit. Why they taking these kids? I'm so sick of this shit. Why they taking these kids? I'm so sick of this shit. Why?